Makes no sense.
Yeah, man, makes no fucking sense to me. Hey, but you know what? That's live streaming for you. Some things make sense and some things no. No. All right, hold on. Let me get you guys the YouTube link, and then I'll send this over to there if you want to use the chat. I'll send this over to Patreon. We can get this little party going. The picture that defaults on our YouTube channel is that like picture that we took at I/O. What that? It's got to be like 3 years ago.
For the World News Tonight photo shoot.
Yeah. It was from the World News Tonight photo shoot. Yeah.
Us against the wall or something.
All right. Let's see.
I was so excited when I got added to World News. I think it's my
you
favorite.
Threw it all away
Chicago.
trying to chase celebrity out there in LA.
Yeah, you're right. Celebrity singular. I'm chasing one celebrity around. Trying to get their autograph.
Rosie Perez.
Drew Barrymore.
Oh.
If only.
Ever after.
You know, Aaron, if you ever want to come back to Chicago for a night, you could probably do World News, but you just have to come back to your old stomping ground.
Yeah, and we do Tuesday nights now.
Yeah, it's also Tuesday nights now.
Why are you laughing?
I just remembered a Garfield.
Yeah,
which one?
Me too. It was the one. Was it the one where
he kills
John
Odie?
Drinks Odie's cum?
Yeah.
Oh God, that felt viscerally bad to hear.
And then he goes, "Oh, that's so
you've seen
good."
That one, right? You've seen that, Garfield?
Seen it?
Yeah.
You wrote it.
Where John drinks dog cum. Garfield dog semen comic strip. Okay, let's see. I gotta put this over here. You guys ready to see this?
If it's Ryan Reynolds, I actually am not interested.
I should have done that. I should have done that, but I just want to show you this comic strip. Okay, so the vet says, "Congratulations, Mr. Arbuckle. You're going to give birth to a fine, healthy litter of puppies."
Oh, in his face and his eyes and his mouth.
Yeah.
You
So what
can
he
tell
just
that
did was he drank this cup that was up on the counter here. And she says you're going to give birth to a healthy litter of puppies.
Can I say something crazy? And I don't want to be offensive.
Sure.
That woman looks like Garfield.
I mean, her eyes are drawn the same, but also so are his.
Yeah, they all have the same eyes.
That woman looks exactly like Garfield.
Garfield doesn't have the eyelashes. Garfield has like the whiskers on the side. But yeah, similar. Haircut.
I was going to say, doesn't that kind of look like us three?
Huh.
Oh, so let me do this. This is Aaron.
Yeah.
This is Adel. And this is JPC.
Mouthful of dog.
Yeah, exactly.
Empty cup of cum.
All right. Well, anyway, that's that cartoon. Hello, Jeremy. Hello, Amy. Hello, Aaron. Hello,
Hello, Darkness.
And hello, Owen. And I only say hello to the first 5 people. That's how we do it.
And the last 5, I believe.
And the last 5, yeah, I will.
Which is tricky because you don't know when it's going to cut off. So it's always a crapshoot.
So keep getting them in there. Keep getting them in there.
Seems like my light bulb is about to give out. I'm going to leave my lamp on so you guys can be here for the moment.
Are its knees wobbling?
It's going.
It's like holding up the light.
Can I tell you what I'm obsessed with?
Yes.
So, I'm a big Liquid IV fan.
What's this now?
Liquid IV.
Aren't all IVs liquid?
Are you?
Yes.
Like recreationally?
No. Well, I do love to get an IV because I'm perpetually dehydrated, but that's not what this is. Liquid IV are these like hydration packets.
Okay.
That have like vitamin B in it and vitamin C as well. And it's supposed to like multiply your hydration, but really it's just like diet Gatorade. It feels like it's helping with electrolytes. But normally I do the lemon lime flavor of Liquid IV. You pour it into your water and it's just it makes your water taste good. But for January, they came out with mocktail flavors. So things that taste like a cocktail but are actually like electrolyte drinks. And I'm obsessed with them. They're so good. It's kind of expensive, but it's they have like a smoky Paloma one, non-alcoholic, of course.
Yeah, and then smoky mezcal Paloma.
Smoky Paloma is a Raymond Chandler character?
Exactly.
Thank you.
And then like a cucumber mojito one. And then so I just put a little orange, little
Wow.
citrus in my
Now,
smoky
Aaron,
Paloma one, and it feels like I'm drinking a cocktail, but it's not a cocktail.
I'm on the Liquid IV website. Have you had their other mocktail flavors?
There's more than just those two.
Yes, they come in 2-packs. So there's the cucumber mojito and the smoky mezcal paloma, which is the first pack. Is
Both
that the
are
one that
great.
you have?
Mm-hmm.
And then we have this one.
Ooh, see, I drink that.
Now, oh, I'm sorry, Aaron. Now this is a 6-pack. Did I say 2-pack?
How much
And
is the
did you see
6-pack?
this is what makes me
This
so
one comes.
mad.
This one comes to the 6-pack, Aaron.
Can I tell you what makes me so mad?
Yeah, please.
And
Is
that's a
I
hot
was
toddy.
prepared for this. I've already brought it up a couple times,
Yeah.
and you still surprised me. I am
Mm.
Yeah,
furious.
smoky
You also
mezcal.
got
I
me
wanna
excited that
the
there was
bull by
more
the horns.
flavors. You're a jerk.
Yeah, that's
Whatever.
deceit. That's what
Aaron,
that's
are
how you
we-
deceive.
Are we? I like that we're scanning it like a Google map. Aaron, are we certain that
National
it's
Treasure.
not? Are we certain that it's not liquid 4?
What is that?
Well, you're confidently saying liquid IV, and I'm positing.
Oh, that's really funny.
Yeah, it could
Like
be liquid
Roman
4.
numerals.
Well,
Mhm,
just trying to start a
mhm.
conversation.
It could
trying
be.
to funny.
It could be. Again, I don't know
could be.
anything.
I think liquid IV is such a wild name because I immediately, I mean, within a millisecond, I just think needles. So to
Mhm.
me, it's traumatizing branding.
Let me tell you something about liquid IV. The reason why I
Okay.
started drinking it is I couldn't sleep and I was watching YouTube, and there was a video of a Rockette, and she went through her schedule, her Christmas schedule for the day, and
Okay.
how
Must be
she does it.
hectic.
And I was like,
Christmas
my
schedule for
life
the
is
day.
hectic like a Rockette's.
9 o'clock kick, 9:15 kick,
Kick.
9:20 kick, 9:22 kick.
Exactly. And so she said the way I'm able to do these 2 shows a day is I drink a lot of liquid IV, and I was like,
Okay.
I'm dehydrated.
I'm listening.
And so that was a couple years ago, and now it's everywhere and everyone does it. But I did it. I was the second person ever to do it, and the first was a Rockette. Let the record show.
Wow.
But
Aaron,
Adel, you would
you're
like
tall
these,
enough
I
to
think.
be a rocket.
Thank you. I am.
What's their cutoff?
I
You're
think they have to-
5'7", 5'8"? What are you?
Let me Google it. I'm 5'8" and a
Do
little.
rockets have to be tall?
Yes.
I thought they just all had to be the same size.
I think they
This
have
is
to be
tragic.
somewhat tall.
This is maybe not my story to tell, but I danced at a dance studio. I won't name it, in Massachusetts, where the
Give us
founder.
a rhyme.
No, because people figure it out right away. The founder of the studio. I'm talking so much on this live stream. I'm so sorry. I'll shut up the second half.
No, please.
The founder of the studio, it was a Rockette, and then her daughter was a Rockette, and then their daughter, who was my dance teacher, her dream was to be a Rockette. Everyone's dream
Oh.
was for her to be a Rockette.
Oh.
And then when she was in puberty, she got into a car accident and it stunted her growth. And then she was too short to be a Rockette, and it broke her heart. And it was like her villain origin story.
I honestly, because that's like a Rockette Nepo baby. So you're like in the bag
Exactly.
at that point. You should have that all like tied up.
And that Rockette Nepo baby taught me how to dance. Yeah. Anyway,
we have a question. I wanted to get to this because this is a question from Noam. Noam says,
Mm.
"Hey guys, I'm in the middle of the casting process for my high school's You're a Good Man, Charlie Brown. I'm a student director as a sophomore. Have any words of advice or just good luck?"
I love
Mm,
that musical.
I don't know
Adel?
that musical. Are there good parts in it, Aaron?
Mhm.
It's one of my blind spots. I don't know it at all.
Great.
Is
I'm
it?
assuming the whole Peanuts gang is in it.
Mhm.
Okay. So let's see.
Charlie Brown is the lead.
Obviously, you're going to want to cast your lead as Charlie Brown. Let's say that right now. You're
Here's
in the
what I'll
casting
say.
process.
Here's what I'll say, just to
Okay.
mix things up. Again, I don't know this musical. It's one of my blind spots. I would say, is it Schroeder plays the piano, Linus is the dirty one. I would say cast the whoever's the like most strikingly handsome, popular, clean cut dude who auditions, cast him as Linus, because I feel like that's
Pigpen. I think Pigpen might be the dirty one.
Pigpen. Thank you. I forget who Linus has the blanket. Pigpen is who I'm thinking of.
Yes.
Cast whoever the most clean cut, handsome person in that role, just as a moment, like a teaching moment for humility. This is a chance to humble someone. Anytime I directed,
that's what all casting should be, is a chance to humble someone.
In college, I directed 8 or 9 shows, and I would constantly be like, what does this role call for? This role is like is supposed to be someone who's like Richard the Third. They have like a deformity or something. And I'd be like, who can I like knock down a peg? Whose ego is out of control? Whose head is like a Macy's Day float?
Yes.
And my shows were terrible, but that person always learned the lesson.
Here's what I do. I say cast this thing and really spice it up. Gender swap. That's right. Charlie Brown, you're a girl. Okay. Linus, you're a girl. Marcy,
Snoopy,
boy.
you're a bird.
Snoopy, gay.
Woodstock, a dog. Snoopy, gay.
Snoopy's always been gay. If you've been paying attention for even a minute, Snoopy's been a gay icon from
that
moment
dance.
one.
Are you kidding me?
Him going
the Babadook.
Nothing's gayer than going when everyone around you's acting a fool.
Cast Schroeder as a piano, and cast the piano as a human.
As a Babadook.
As a Babadook.
Here's real advice from directing in college. I would say 2 things. One, come in over prepared. You always, I feel like some of the most awkward moments I had was early on directing in college, and me being like, the night before being like, I'll figure it out in rehearsal. And then I get to a point where I'm like, I don't know what to do. And then from that point on, I never had that issue again because I prepared. And then 2, I would say really set an environment that encourages your actors to give input, and you yourself be malleable to input as well. Don't get drunk with power and think what you say goes. Be open to your cast suggestions. Those are my 2 pieces of advice.
That's great advice, Saddle.
And opening night for Lucy's football, make it like a rock, like paint a rock,
make
like
it glass.
So whoever's Charlie Brown gets really hurt.
For authenticity.
Method.
My advice is cast the person who's having the most fun performing the role, because no one's ever had a bad time at a show where all the performers were having the time of their life. Who cares if they can't sing at the best? They're having fun.
They also say that they're a student directing as a sophomore. And so I'll say this could be the last time in your life that you have power. So I would say use it and abuse it, because you never know when you might need to when you might not be getting back on that horse again. And if it's a while, let's say you don't have power until, I don't know, you're a few years later and you're like someone's boss at wherever you work. And that's a long way to wait to abuse a person. So you're going to want to abuse as many people as you can now, get it in early, get it in often.
I agree with JPC. Scrap what I said.
Aaron, I'm unfamiliar with the musical. Is this where the song Christmas Time is Here? Is that where it comes from?
No, that's a great Christmas pumpkin, Charlie Brown. What the fuck is it called?
I like how condescending that sounds. That's a great Christmas pumpkin, Charlie Brown.
Oh, that's a great Christmas pumpkin.
Good job, buddy.
I forget what the Christmas Charlie Brown movie is called, but you might know the song "Happiness is Morning and Evening." That one, and that's my new philosophy. That's my new. Kristen Chenoweth was in the original.
Oh, was she
the famous one? You know her. Anthony Rapp from Rent was Charlie Brown.
Well, my name is Anthony. Rent every day. Rent every day.
Anthony Rapp. That wasn't a character from Rent. That's a little on the nose, huh? You're gonna do a musical and your character's name is Anthony Rapp.
My favorite song from that musical is the Book Report one. So if you're gonna listen to one song from that, look up the Book Report one. But I don't know anything. So
Aaron,
anyways, what's up?
It seems like a lot of people in the chat are going to buy Liquid IV based on your suggestion. So
I'm an influencer now, I guess.
Maybe
buy
we
stock?
should have made them a sponsor before.
We should have bought stock.
Maybe we'll send them an email. Send a help@liquidiv.com.
I would love for them to be a sponsor. I would be able to genuinely sing their praises.
Honestly, sing their theme song.
Honestly, just try out
Liquid IV.
Try out code Riddle and just see what the fuck happens.
Yeah, honestly.
Something that could set off something.
That might retroactively make them go like,
they're like, what is happening?
Anyway, and we're like, we're sending people until you become a sponsor.
If they track that data and they just track people putting in our promo code so much, and then they get an email from us be like, hey, bet you've seen a lot of traffic from this promo code. Well, what could be?
I will say, Aaron, I'm intrigued to try Liquid IV, not just because of your ringing endorsement, but because never in my life have I heard a single person ever say, this helped multiply my hydration. And now I'm so curious what that feeling is. I want to have the feeling of my hydration being multiplied.
You've been influenced, baby. That's what it is.
Feels like I stepped into the sun.
I would love to be an influencer, but I don't think people should. I want our economy to collapse so we can all start over. You know what I mean?
I'd love to be an influencer, but I think that the whole thing is evil. But
I think the whole thing is evil, but I do think that I have the best taste in stuff.
Oh yeah.
And I wish I could share my taste in things, but I don't want people spending money. So I don't know what to do.
This is like how I think I would be a very good chief of police.
Exactly.
Something I never thought I'd hear you say.
Done, but I could do the job.
Yeah. Yeah, I will never do that. But
I'd like to push Mayor Lori Lightfoot to the floor. I'd say, I'm in charge here. I do have a question. We have a question from Molly. Molly says, are you looking forward to anything in particular for the Sketchfest show in a couple weeks, or looking forward just to something in San Francisco in general? The bread. Yeah, I'll be eating some of the bread.
Oh, I thought you meant like the pay we're getting.
We're not getting.
I don't think. Are we getting paid? I don't think we're getting paid for the show. The Skrilla. The Scratch. No, the San Francisco sourdough, baby. Give me that. Give me that. I can't wait to go to the Mission and get a Mission style sourdough sandwich.
Honestly, three things. Number one, maybe the best burritos in the U.S. reside in San Francisco. I forget the name of the place, but I'll look it up.
That can't be true.
I think it is.
Mission style burritos. Mission style burritos.
There's two places I went to in San Francisco that were the two best burritos I've ever had in my life.
Okay. Okay.
Number two, I want to say it's the Bongo Room, one of my favorite tiki bars, where you go and it's in the bottom of a hotel, and there's a big lake in the bar, and there's a boat on the lake with a live band, and the boat goes around the lake, and people sing on the boat. There's live music, and then it rains from the ceiling onto the boat every hour or something. If possible, make it over there. And then number three, I think this will be our first time the three of us together in a bit of a chunk of time, right?
Yeah, like
since the tour last year. Yeah,
since November, October. So that'll be nice.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to maybe getting to chat with people after the show. That I loved doing that in DC, and where'd we go? New York?
No, that can't be right. Philadelphia.
So that's what I'm most looking forward to in the show.
Yeah, I also think that the show might. I think it is sold out, right? So I
believe it is sold out.
I hope that if you're in San Francisco, you have tickets. But I think on the website they said that they might have like day of tickets too. So I don't know that they're going to be turning people away. So I think if you show up, even if it is sold out, I think you're probably going to have a shot to get in there.
If you show up and scream, I know the mayor, they will have to let you know.
I do think that, and correct me if I'm wrong, if anyone in the chat knows, if anyone's going to that show in San Francisco and you bought tickets last year for the one that got postponed, I think you got to keep your ticket from last year, if that is correct. And if that is the case, there may be some people who bought tickets last year that have forgotten about it and might not show up. Yeah. So you might be, there's a chance that you could get in.
They've lost interest.
Absolutely.
I think Aaron and we get in Friday, so we have to figure out something fun to do. JPC, you get in Saturday morning?
Saturday, yeah.
Okay.
I mean, we hope two sketch fests ago, there was a huge winter storm in Chicago. So sad. So this time, instead of coming in day of, I'm coming in the night before. So
can I say
really hoping for no huge. Well, I booked a ticket on Southwest, so I think I'm okay. I think I'll be fine.
Rob Corddry was pissed.
He was mad. Yeah.
He called us very unprofessional. He slapped Aaron.
Yeah.
Well, it was a high five. I guess it was a high five, but
a high five's a slap. Don't say it's not. It's a slap on the hand, but it's a slap.
That was probably my favorite and best meeting someone I admire experience, because
you were glowing. You seemed over the moon to meet him because he's a Boston.
Yeah.
Boston legacy.
And normally I really don't like meeting people I'm like a huge fan of, because it's like the Troy from Community, like, you can't disappoint a picture. Like, I just don't want a memory associated with me being like awkward or bad in front of them. But he was so gracious, and he had it was like, could not have gone better. I was like, your Daily Show bit where you toured Boston for the 2004 Democratic National Convention. I had it on DVD and I watched it once a week, and it's my favorite comedy thing. And I'm from Hingham and you're from Weymouth. And I like went into it, and he had like fun facts. He said that Boston comedy thing that he did was his favorite thing he's ever done, and that no one's ever brought it up to him.
Wow.
And I was like,
what sucks is when I showed up to the venue. Maybe our call time was like 3 or something. I show up to the venue at 2:45. He's already there, waiting for me. He says hello. He's like, "It's so nice to meet you. I've been listening to the podcast. I listened to 3 or 4 episodes. I'm like, this sucks. Like, please, you should have showed up late. You should have been like, I haven't listened to the show. I'm not going to listen to the show. You should have like been a big swinging dick."
Well, the good news is our guest this year doesn't listen to the show, so
yes,
we don't have to worry about that. Because as we all know, the curse is once you get on the show, you stop listening.
You stop listening. I think Janet famously said a few months ago, "Sadly, this is my favorite podcast." I think she meant it in terms of she does several podcasts, and sadly, this is the favorite. But I like with no context. Sadly, this is my favorite podcast.
I was listening to a podcast yesterday or today that and it was a podcast episode of a show called Knowledge Fight. And they're 2 Chicago guys, but I don't know them. And the episode was from 2018, and they were like talking in the middle of their set, and one of them was telling a story, and he was saying he was hanging out with his buddy Kyle Ayers, and I was like, "Hey, I know Kyle
we just did
Ayers."
His podcast,
yeah,
right?
because we just did his podcast. But I was listening to this thing from like 2018, and I knew that Kyle had been like in Chicago. I just didn't know. I don't know that I'd ever like ran into people that he had met. So it is a very funny like small world when you're just like, oh, now that name that if I had heard before, it would mean nothing to me. It's like, oh, I've met that person.
It's so weird.
Small world.
Small world. The world is
small.
small.
The world is very small, but we have hit 8 billion people, so that's good news.
Wow.
Yeah.
You've hit
year.
8 billion people?
Well, high five.
How fast? Okay.
Well, high five when they weren't looking, so I slapped them in the face.
Yeah, the back of the head. High five the back of the head.
I think high five a lot of times it's 2 people stopping each other from hitting each other.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like a defense mechanism.
It's a peacemaking mechanism.
If I hadn't slapped your hand, you would have hit me, and vice versa. So what the Knights used to do.
I see that Ben Affleck was working at a Dunkin' Donuts today in Massachusetts, and I wasn't even there.
I thought that was a fake picture. I thought it was a guy who just looked like Ben Affleck.
No, it was him.
Real?
He was a promo for something.
Oh, for Dunkin' Donuts?
He was shooting his wedding photos. No, he's already married, right? They're already married. Him and J-Lo are married. Yeah.
Who cares?
JPC, I come to you for my pop culture knowledge. You have to stay up to date on these celebrity couples. What are you doing?
I know. I should be.
I come to you on the day of your Affleck's wedding.
If I need pop culture stuff, I go to Mariah, and then Mariah asks our other friend Aaron, and then I get filled on what is happening in pop culture.
Oh, Aaron Udick, man, does she know her stuff?
Hey, you know what, Aaron? You just did a comedy Bang Bang with what's her
Allison
name?
Williams.
Allison Williams. And I said Allison Williams, and Aaron Udick had like 3 Allison Williams things like ready to go. Like she knew Allison Williams. She was like, Allison Williams had like the best like response to being a Nepo baby that I've seen anyone have. And I was like, okay.
What was her response?
I mean, I don't know it, but it was
my dad lied about like being in Vietnam or whatever.
Which is I truly think I made the same joke. I was like, what was the response? The dad lied about being in the war? No, I think the response was like, of course Nepo babies have it easier. I think she was like, I was Tina Fey's assistant or something, and she was like, no way would I've had that job if my dad wasn't Ryan Williams. So yeah.
I will say, Aaron, you crushed it on that episode. It was so good. And then also Allison Williams was great. I felt like she more so than any celebrity I've heard come on for the first time, just felt very comfortable, very at ease.
I mean, it was obvious too that she was a fan of the show, because she caught like the inside joke references, which I don't necessarily know. Like if you have like a publicist briefing you, they're not going to be like, okay, so when he says situation no down boo over, you have to like respond in this way, you know. I think they said, do you sing Jeremy Piven? And she was on it. So
yeah, she came in with like such a good energy. Well, first of all, people, they don't tell you who's going to be on the show. I didn't even know Dan Lippert was going to be there. And so I mean, I was on the first time with him. I could have maybe figured it out, but he sort of just sends you dates and then you pick a random one. And I was like, okay, well, it's Dan Lippert again. I know him. That's okay. Okay. He already knows he knows I'm weird. And then she walked in and I was like, but she seemed so nervous because she's such a big fan. And she brought Scott a beautiful baby gift and was like, your show got me through my pregnancy. And I
like a tiny little gift.
Yeah, like a tiny, so small.
TV.
And she like had so much to say specifically about specific episodes and like how much she loved the show. And I was like, this is really cool. And it was, she also is just like, I've been a fan of hers for a while. She's very like New England queen, aspirational. But she was so dry and funny and so funny off mic too, that I was just like, wow, she's pretty magical in person, I would say.
One of my favorite, this really does, go ahead, JPC.
No, we have a question in the chat, but I'll get to it after you go.
I was going to say one of my favorite things that somebody like after I had watched the movie, I can't remember where I saw this, if like a friend told me or if I saw it online or something, but one of my favorite sort of film dissection moments I heard about was
the scene in Alien
when it pops out of Paul Reiser's chest.
Yeah.
Is at the end of Get Out. Allison Williams is sitting on a bed eating cereal, and she's eating it dry with the milk next to it, and the article I read or whoever told me about it was that she keeps anything with color separated from the white because she's eating like Fruit Loops or something, so it's like that has color to it, and then the white and the milk is white, and she keeps it separate because obviously she comes from a racist family.
I don't know
and
about
she's
that.
racially motivated too.
That's not what I got from the movie.
But I was like, what a fascinating choice by Jordan Peele. Like that's pretty cool.
She was very nice about how nervous I was. And it was also such a clusterfuck because Dan and I both intended to do different characters. I was not going to be a mannequin. And then because like Dan had planned this AI, and then I was planning on being like a little boy who was pretending to be a CEO so he could get booze. And then everything shifted in like a 5-second period. And she was like so gentle about it. And I was like, I really gotta figure out I'm gonna be a mannequin. So like it was
I'm a mannequin.
I'm a mannequin, I guess. So very stressful.
Aaron, a question from Peebo says, do you like Ben Affleck as Mr. Boston?
No.
What does that mean?
Like as like I assume as like a representation of Boston.
Oh, like
Ben
Captain
like
Boston, Mr. Boston.
Yeah.
I see.
There are better candidates.
Like a movie.
For example, Rob Corddry.
Yeah, okay, but look, let's be honest. Rob Corddry is not on Ben Affleck's like level. Like if you had to pick someone who was like Ben Affleck, like between
they're all garbage.
Damon, I would rather have Affleck.
Between Damon and Affleck, I'd rather have Damon.
Well,
no,
I mean, Damon just stopped using the F slur like 2 years ago because his daughter was like, "Dad, this is wicked bad," and he was like, "You're right, it is bad, huh?"
We don't have great representation. Then we also have Mark Wahlberg who beat someone up.
Yeah,
so like, what are we gonna do?
That's bottom of the bucket. I think Ben Affleck is my pick of Mr. Boston simply because I love that he does not care about what the paparazzi does. Like he's over it so much that he will just let the paparazzi take photos of him.
that picture of him getting Dunkin' Donuts.
But Adel, there's 100 of those. Like there's so many like sad looking photos of Ben Affleck. And I think it's just great because it's like, if you have to do this like your whole life, you can't let them take one bad photo of you, to just give up and be like, no, they can just do whatever they want. I don't care. Okay. I love that.
I just looked up celebrities from the Boston area, and I have a top 3 for my Mr. Boston.
Wow.
Okay.
And I'll go in. I'm going to go in from 3 to 1. Number 3, my number 3 Mr. Boston, Uma Thurman.
Wow, great Mr. Boston.
She can do no wrong in my eyes.
Yeah.
Number 2, John Cazale. He was in like 4 movies before he died, and 3 of them were up for Best Picture. He was in Deer Hunter. He was in Godfather. He played Fredo in Godfather. I made
Cazale.
Cazale.
Oh, I remember him.
He was Meryl Streep's husband.
Yeah.
But he was Fredo. He kind of looks like Edgar Allan Poe. And then my number 1 Mr. Boston, Amy Mann. I didn't know Amy Mann was Mr. Boston. I love Amy Mann.
Sash that says Mr. Boston.
She's fantastic.
Someone said Chris Evans in the chat. That's a good one because he's from Boston, and the clip of him going, be honest, in a Boston accent is like, unfortunately, the hottest thing I've ever seen in my life.
He's great, but I think he's just like, I think we're all just taken by his looks. And I feel like I just need to take a step back and be like, he's fine, but he's just strikingly handsome. Edward Norton, no, thank you. Ben
Edward
Foster,
Norton's also from Boston.
okay.
Wow, a lot of Boston representation.
Dane Cook, hard pass. Carly
what
Simon.
town is Edward Norton from?
He doesn't see. He was born in Boston.
The only person that is from Indianapolis that I know of is Vivica A. Fox, which I think is great because that's a sentence. But Vivica A. Fox worked at a health food store that we used to go to, and I saw her working in there like before she was Vivica A. Fox, which is pretty cool.
Very cool.
Yeah.
He was raised in Maryland, Edward Norton. That's why he doesn't have Boston vibes. Now I understand.
Okay. Yeah, a lot of people too. Like, I think like you could like Kurt Vonnegut spent a lot of time in Indianapolis, but I don't think he's like from Indianapolis. I think he's from like upstate New York. So
yeah, we claim him in Massachusetts because his son lived there.
Yeah.
So here's something
insane. Just insane across the board.
So Edward Norton is in Glass Onion. In one of my favorite scenes in the flashback, he's dressed like Tom Cruise from Magnolia.
Yeah, so funny.
Who did the soundtrack for Magnolia?
Amy
but
Mann.
my Mr. Boston, Amy Mann.
Kevin Bacon game.
Yeah.
Is that what that is?
It's Boston. Boston Bacon.
Yes.
Boston Bacon.
Boston Bacon beans. Wow. Okay. Kevin Bacon beans, and you have to get from a Kevin Bacon movie to a Mr. Bean movie. It's 7 steps.
Ow. 7 steps.
Which is, can I just say,
Step 1,
incredibly
acceptance.
hard because all Mr. Bean movies are just him and like
and
like a waiter who you would never know.
You'd hope that there's like some celebrity cameos. Basically, it's not Rowan Atkinson movies. It's Mr. Bean movies. So you can't be throwing Rat Race in there and trying to like Seth. What is the Seth?
Oh,
Robot Chicken?
From Austin Powers.
Yeah.
Seth Green.
Seth Green. Can't Seth Green your way into a Rat Race.
Here's my. Let me get this. I need to give me total silence. Ready. Here's my Mr. Bean.
Was Mr. Bean in Star Wars?
Yes.
I guess he is doing a Jabba the Hutt impression.
He is. He's kind of he's Mr. Bean. Well, maybe Bean did it first. We don't know.
Bean did it best. Bean did it first. Bean did it best. I mean, he kind of looks like Andy Serkis.
That's true.
Andy Serkis also sounds like Mr. Bean is clearly a character name. Andy Serkis sounds like a character name. Like a Groundlings character. Aaron,
wait. Where's Vonnegut was? I'm hearing from Jill that Vonnegut was born in Indianapolis.
Yeah, that's where the Vonnegut
isn't his museum is. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but I don't. He. Well, also. Vonnegut not exactly a great guy, so I don't know how much we want to really like claim Vonnegut. Great author, don't get me wrong, but another dude who like didn't write his first book until he was like 40 years old.
Yeah.
Wasn't there something where was he in the war, Vonnegut?
Yes, yeah.
I think there was something. Yeah, Slaughterhouse 5. And so it goes. Somebody told, or I heard some story somewhere that was like, there's a letter in the museum that like he had a really bad relationship with his dad, and his dad sent him this letter while he was in the war, and he hated his dad so much he never opened it, and then his dad died and never talked to him again, and he went the rest of his life never opening the letter, and so that letter is sealed and then framed in the museum. Like the envelope.
So petty. I love it.
That's really interesting.
It's really so petty. I don't know if that's true, but that's what I heard.
My most like 30 Rock cutaway Chicago thing I did was improvised Kurt Vonnegut. Can you believe the gall those 22-year-olds had?
I feel like it's such a broad swath. Like, I don't know how you improvise in the style of Kurt Vonnegut, just in terms of maybe if you could improvise a picture on every 8th page, like a little doodle. Yeah. But other than that,
I think the only way to successfully do like improvised Kurt Vonnegut is just do like an improv show that's like super accessible and brings a lot of people into the genre. And then it's technically improvised Vonnegut like, by merit.
Yeah,
I know I mentioned this before, but his son was my pediatrician growing up.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
My sister's nannied for his grandson. So there's some familial connection. Also, my mom always had the biggest crush on him, and it drove me insane.
I'm trying to think of like my favorite authors trying to do an improvised show. And I'm like, improvise John Irving. Every scene would be like, "Hi, I'm a wrestler from New Hampshire. How are you?" And it's like, after that, where do you go?
I think that some authors might work. I think improvised Jane Austen might work.
Jane Austen and Shakespeare work very well.
Yeah,
because it's very. I feel like it's very stylized, and it's permeated the zeitgeist fully. But I feel like any modern, like even improvised Stephen King, it's like it's gonna have like horror to it. But what separates improvised horror from improvised Stephen King horror? Like
improvised
it's hard.
John Grisham.
Yeah,
like
what do
procedural?
It's all going to be lawyers and shit. Like,
yeah,
I think it immediately becomes a parody of itself.
Yeah,
right.
The good thing though is all of those have hooks. Like even if people don't know what to expect from improvised Vonnegut, they're like,
that would be improvised J.M. Barrie. I think that's what you're thinking of.
Thank you.
That has a hook.
Yes.
JPC, next time you run into Harrison Lott, mention it. He was also an improvised Kurt Vonnegut. I know he's trying to forget it, but
no,
Harrison Lott, get off my plane. That's Harrison Lott, right?
Make him believe. Let's see. Do we have any other talk amongst yourselves?
Brain busters. Aaron, who's your favorite author? I think mine was John Irving, and then in the last 5 years, it's become George Saunders.
A good question. Who's my favorite?
And
I
then
really like Polly Shulman.
Oh, yeah, buddy, the whistle. I would also say Madeline Miller has become my number 2, and maybe John Irving's my number 3. So I'd say George Saunders, Madeline Miller.
Who's
John
Madeline
Irving.
Miller?
She wrote Circe and yeah, she wrote a lot of graphic novels. Batman.
Done a ton of Batman.
She wrote Song of Achilles and Circe. So she takes a lot of like Greek mythology and turns it into like very fun emotional stories. Cool. I feel like you would love Circe. I'll send you a copy.
Yeah, I'll read it. I'll read it right now. I'll sign off.
I'll fucking read it right now.
I'll read it right now.
Aaron, you're big defensive.
No.
JPC, who's your would it be who's the communist? Who's the Russian? Carl Malone, Carl Sagan, Carl
Sagan. Yeah, it'd probably be Tolstoy.
Famously got an ice pick to the head.
I was trying to remember. I did an improvised. What was that show? It was. I can't remember the name of it, but it was essentially an improvised like sitcom. But we would ask. Our suggestion every week would be like a television show, and so we would just improvise a television an episode of that television show. And the cast was big enough. The cast was like 12 people that we would rehearse a lot, and we would we rehearse tropes a lot, and then someone would like say a television show, and people like nobody watches NCIS, but like one person on the cast would be like, I've seen some NCIS, and it's basically this, and we were like, that person would kind of like take the lead and like laying out what the story beats and stuff were. But that was a fun show, because it was like it was always fun to like, you wanted to get friends every time, because we were like, great, we can nail this. It's like it's like 6 people, insular world, ABC plot,
living above their means, wildly attractive.
Yeah, but then you would get like
incestuous dating history.
You would get like Mad About You, and we were like, oh man, I don't know.
We're in bed with the sheets up to our chest. I did a couple weeks of, there was a sitcom show in, maybe this is like 2013 or something, but it was Wes Haney, John Langan, and Connor O'Malley.
Okay.
And it was like they're 3 roommates, and it was like an improvised sitcom thing. And every episode that I did, it would be like, we'd get I can't remember if we got a suggestion of a previous sitcom or whatever it was, but we'd get some suggestion, and then it would be like starting to build it. And then like within 5 minutes, Connor O'Malley would just like, because they had like props and stuff, he would just suddenly have a wig on when you turn around, and he's like eating an actual piece of lipstick and like and like punching through a window, and you're just like,
improv, baby,
this is the show. And the audience loved it, don't get me wrong, he was a star, but it was a thing of like, I don't know how to do this.
I think one of my favorite things I did in Chicago was I was the coach for the improvised rom-com. I'm sure people have done that a lot in
That's
a
a
lot of
very fun
places.
idea.
But we rehearsed for like a year before they did any shows, just trying to figure out like how to improvise with a like loose format and then be able to change it based on like genre specific stuff. It was like the most exciting math problem to try to work out, and it was a really talented group of people. I don't know if you guys know Holmes.
Yeah, I live in one.
But they are like a stand-up, and they're on Welcome to Flatch. They're the lead of that, the Paul Feig
What's it called?
show. Welcome to Flatch, is that or something Flatch?
I thought my brain shut down. What is Flatch?
It's a Fox sitcom.
But what it do
It's
I
a town.
But what is it?
Is it
It's
like
a
a
town?
turn? Oh, it's a town. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I thought it was like, okay. I'm thinking of like it was like some hip new word or something. Like that shirt is so Flatch, and I'm like,
I play
my brain is not working.
on Welcome to Flatch.
Welcome to Flatch.
I think that's what it's called. Let me double check.
I did I think we did like 3 or 4 shows of improvised Love Actually. This was like 10 years ago. It was no, it was not good.
Oh,
It was when Erin said it took a year to like solve the math problem of how to do an improvised rom-com. It's like, yeah, well, we just kind of like tried to do improvised Love Actually. I think I watched the movie to do the show, and I was like, okay, I guess it was bad. It was pretty bad.
Yeah, I don't know if it holds up. I did improvised movie for 6 years, and that was one of my favorite shows I've ever done. We would do a fully improvised like hour 20 movie.
Whoa, that's a long show.
Jason Chin directed it and created it, and it would be one where it's like I'm biased, but I thought the cast was stellar. But it would be one of those things where it's like 3 years later, I'd be walking down the street and somebody'd be like, "Don't hold the gravy," and I'm like, "What's up?" And they're like, "Don't hold the gravy." From the improvised movie, My Cat's in Danger. And I'm like, I'm so sorry, I don't remember. And they're like, my friends and I quote that movie all the time. Well, not a movie, it's a show. And I'm like, I don't know what to tell you.
Well, who was in the cast of that?
Kristen Studdard, Joran Gargello, Sean Kelly, Rob White, Mel Evans, Megan Redfern eventually, Roger Payton, Mike Johnson.
Whoa, the Bears player?
Yes, refrigerator Mike Johnson. My brain is
I was
failing
thinking,
me, but there's a few other.
I was thinking Walter
That's a good
Payton.
cast.
Yeah. But it was just a lot of hyper intelligent people who like knew movies very well. And were very like would aggressively make moves, which you need when you're talking like camera. It's a lot of like the camera pans and we see this and then smash cut to and all this stuff. So we were always in good hands.
Speaking of, has anyone seen anything lately that they've really enjoyed?
I have, but you're not gonna like it.
Oh, do you liked the?
I like the menu.
The menu.
The table.
Did you eat my table? I thought it was very funny. Yeah, I really enjoyed it.
I am excited. I have not. We just finished season 12 of Bob's Burgers, and I think the way that it goes is, and literally, I'd never seen an episode of Bob's Burgers until like 4 months ago when we started watching this.
You're
show.
flying through it.
Yeah, but now is the movie. Like after season 12, they did a Bob's Burgers movie. Then we were trying to watch season 13. I was like, oh no, we can't. We have to, and now it's such an impediment because I like watching Bob's Burgers since it's 20 minutes and I could go on with my life. But I'm like, now I got a whole movie I have to watch before I don't know how long it is, but I'm like, I'm looking forward to it, but I haven't seen it yet.
I am dying to see. I don't know. I think it's going to be in theaters for a bit. I'm dying to see the new Puss in Boots.
Me too. Puss
dying
in Boots.
To see it. Puss in Boots. Is that how you say it? Puss in Boots.
Puss in Boots.
But I cannot wait. I think unfortunately I'll have to wait till it comes out on video video on demand. Ideally, I see it in the theaters, but we'll see how it shakes out. But because I want to see Avatar 2 before it leaves theaters, and that's a little bit more important just in terms of the experience.
But it'll be in theaters for longer.
Oh, good call.
Yeah.
I also want to see Megan.
I think that one just came out, right?
That one just came out.
Time.
So
came out a couple
you probably
days
have
ago.
a few weeks with that too.
Yeah.
You know what you're gonna have to do, Adel?
What's that?
I'm sorry to say this, buddy. You're gonna have to see multiple movies in a week.
Oof.
Yeah, I didn't want to be the one. I didn't
protect him, JPC.
I haven't done that since I was like 22.
I have to. I haven't done that since Movie Pass was a thing, because I remember when Movie Pass came out and they were like, "Oh,
Pass?
this whole business is just financed by like a money spout. I'm going to spend all of this money. I'm going to be the guy ruining Movie Pass."
I remember when you got Movie Pass, because I don't think you talked me into it, but just how enthused you were about it got me into it. Because then after I hung out with you, I was like, I gotta get Movie Pass. JPC's loving it, and you saw like 85 movies a year, and I remember you and I'd reach out and be like, "Do you want to go see this?" And you're like, "Yeah, sure." And I'm like, "He's seeing anything and everything."
Anything. Like, it was all free.
You would let anything happen to you?
But I'd be like, "You want to see this?" And you're like, "It wasn't on my radar, but sure."
Yeah, I'll see it. I'll see anything. Because that the year that I did Movie Pass was also the year that I was like, I want to see 100 movies that I've never seen before. Not in the theaters necessarily.
Wild.
I just,
in general,
I didn't want to watch TV. I wanted to, like, I was like, if I'm going to spend time watching something, it's going to be a movie, and it's going to be one that I haven't seen before. Yeah, and I did. I saw 100 movies that year, and a lot of them were Movie Pass. That's actually got me thinking, like, I'm going to check my Google Drive to see if I still have that.
You should have done a blog. Aaron, I don't know if we heard from you. Is there anything that you saw recently that you really enjoyed?
Well, two things I have to recommend. Sean, in a gentle way, insisted I watched Arcane. I hadn't watched it. The animated show on Netflix.
It's the League of Legends show.
Yeah.
I'm gonna write this down.
It's devastating. If you're a little sister, the show is going to actually maybe hurt you. I was like crying. It's hard, but it's the best world building in a fantasy world maybe I've ever seen. It's incredible.
How many episodes?
I think it's 10.
I might.
JPC, you watched it? No.
Nope. I won't watch it because of that company.
Netflix?
Oh, they're not a good company?
No, they're one of the worst companies in video games. And
I didn't know that.
It's a really great show, but I'm like, I can't with them.
Well, Aaron recommended it. Noted. JPC won't watch it. I'll watch half the episode.
Let's call the whole thing off.
Well, then don't watch that, I guess. But I think his YouTube channel name is Mike's Mike. I think that might be it.
Mike's
Mike. He does like recaps of full series on YouTube. He's a very funny Australian man, and he did a recap of Gossip Girl season 1. And I'm a avid Gossip Girl rewatcher because it's so bad and so good. And Aaron,
my mind is failing me. How does that theme song go?
You know you love me. You're thinking Pretty Little Liars.
Oh, XO, I got a secret. Gotta keep
got a secret. Can you keep it? Yeah, this one's a page in a locket in your pocket, and that one to the grave. Something like that. But he does a recap of Gossip Girl season 1, and I was laughing out loud every other sentence. I don't think I've ever laughed that continuously while watching something. So I think you will have to be a Gossip Girl fan to like it, but I was laughing my ass off. So if you want to check that out.
Here we go. Here's this. These are movies that I gave 1 star to in 2018.
Oh, yes, please. Yes,
I can't wait.
I saw 110 movies in 2018.
Can we guess some before you go?
Okay. I already started saying it, but I will say The Snowman. The Snowman from 2018. Did anyone see that?
The clues were all there.
Yeah,
come and
really
catch me.
bad.
What was the catchphrase? Come and catch me, Mr. Policeman.
Yeah, Mr. Policeman, I gave you all the clues.
I gave you all the clues. Yes.
I guess what had happened with that movie is it had they didn't film enough of the script to make the movie make sense. So then they just had to try to fix it in editing. But I guess they had left out some scenes or something. Very weird.
Wild, because Joe Nesbo, that series by Joe Nesbo is 40 books. So it seems like they really fumbled the ball there, because that could have been a huge series.
Any guesses, Aaron, if you want to guess? I think most of these movies did come out in 2018 too. So.
Also I think the detective in those books is called Harry Hole.
Yeah, Harry Hole. That's his name.
I mean, that's like a 3rd grader wrote them.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm looking at movies that came out in 2018 because I want a fighting chance.
One of my favorite movies of the last 10 years came out in 2018, and that's Annihilation. And I can't tell if JPC would have liked Annihilation.
Here, what did I give Annihilation?
The Meg, you gave a 1 star to.
Oh, maybe? Aaron, The Meg got 3 stars. I love The Meg. I saw it that year. Annihilation, 3.5 stars.
Okay, good.
3.5 stars. I liked Annihilation. I didn't love Annihilation.
That's great.
Also, let's see what else got 3.5.
Was Hereditary
stars?
that year?
I didn't see
Yes.
Hereditary. I did not see Hereditary.
Again, one of the best movies of the last 10 years.
I'm trying to think. So some of the movies that I really loved from 2018. Oh, do I have? Oh, these are the dates that I saw the movie, not the date that it released. So I let's see. Did I love anything that came out in 2018?
Wreck-It Ralph 2.
Hey, Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse
Ah,
came out in 2018.
that
5
is
stars. Absolutely
number
loved
one
it.
with a bullet, the best movie of the last 10 years.
I think you gave A Simple Favor 1 star.
Did I see A Simple Favor? That sounds so
What is
familiar.
that?
Didn't see it.
That sounds
Didn't
like
see
a
it.
Coen Brothers movie. What is A Simple Favor?
Is The Vanishing? You gave 1 star.
Are these horror movies? Because
The Vanishing?
No.
I would not have seen
Like
horror
a
movies.
60s film, right?
Ocean's
Vanishing
8. You gave 1 star.
Okay, here I definitely saw Ocean's 8. What did I give
Well,
it?
it had 8 stars.
Honestly,
Mindy Kaling, Kate Blanchett.
I
Anne
gave
Hathaway.
Ocean's 8 4 stars. I enjoyed the hell out of it. I had a great time. You can sucker me with any fucking heist movie. Like a heist movie is
Heist
hard for
movies
me not to
rule.
love.
I agree.
Oh, did
let's
you watch?
see.
Anybody watch Kaleidoscope? Is that good?
Mm-mm,
I'm
I don't
curious.
see it.
Nobody I know has watched it. I'm very curious if it's worth the
No.
time or not.
Things I gave 5 stars to that
Deadpool 2.
I stick by. I probably gave it higher than I'd like to admit. Game Night. Game Night
Was
from-
so
so
great,
good.
so good.
fantastic. Death of Stalin also came out in 2018.
Incredible
Fantastic.
film. Incredible film.
Sorry to Bother You came out in 2018. Fantastic. 5 stars.
That
8th
guy-
grade.
I started watching Atlanta. I watched all of Atlanta. That guy.
So Lakeith Stanfield.
I forget the actors. Yes, that guy is a megastar. That guy. I will watch anything that guy is in.
I don't know. I definitely saw 8th grade, but it's not on my spreadsheet, Aaron. So I apologize.
The Bo Burnham.
Okay.
Paddington 2 also came out in 2018.
A perfect movie.
Do you know I've not seen either Paddington?
Aaron, they are so
Aaron,
good. They are so good.
And
That's
I
what you-
love British things, especially little bears and
Aaron,
coats. So
for
what
our
am I doing?
Aaron, for our show in San Francisco, we're
Yes.
simply going to watch Paddington 1 and 2.
And we go shh to anyone making a noise. We hand out popcorn. I love it.
And here's the thing: at the end, there will not be a single person who complains about it. I
No.
guarantee you.
All right. Well,
That's how
then.
good the movies are.
Maybe
Aaron, I
I'll
gave-
watch it later tonight.
Aaron, I gave Deadpool 2 4 stars.
Hell yeah.
Ooh, okay.
I knew you did. I knew it. I knew
Okay.
you would, and I knew you did. I knew you did. I knew it.
We're on to you.
Hey, look, I had a good time. I had a good time in Deadpool 2. What can I say?
I
We're
knew
on
you
to
did.
you.
I knew it.
Well, yeah.
What did that do to your brain, to your social life? 100 movies in a year is a lot.
So here's what it did. Most of these I saw with other people,
Mhm.
and it was a fun thing to be like, hey, let's go see a movie, and you'd go hang out with a friend to see a movie. But the other thing I did is I don't think I watched like any TV that whole year. I think I just watched movies, and so what I was trying to get out of that is like purposeful time. Like if I'm sitting here to like consume a piece of media, I want to like do that with the media. And since I had Movie Pass there, I saw a lot of these in theaters, and I wasn't on my phone or whatever. I was just like in the theater seeing the movie that came out.
Pretty good. I guess when I
But-
think about it, that's like 2 movies a week, which isn't that bad.
It was not bad, and I think I did that math. I think I just tried to see 2 movies a week. But I will
Especially if
say,
like if at least one a week is at home, it's not that bad.
let's see how many of the 110
guys-
movies I saw, 31 were 3 stars or under for me. So
Damn.
yeah, I did see basically it means like 70% of the movies I saw were good, and the other 30% were like I could have not watched these.
I guess 70
TBC.
70-30 is not bad.
That's not
ratio.
terrible. Yeah.
I got a question for you.
Yes, please.
Or you already said, but I think I missed it. How did you keep track of this? Is this Letterbox
No, I just use a spreadsheet.
spreadsheet?
Yeah.
What is Letterbox, and why do people keep talking about it?
I truly don't know.
I'm looking it
Letterbox
up.
is an app that lets you keep track of movies you've seen, and I think it lets you like rank movies and stuff. So a lot of TikTokers are obsessed with it, and a lot of people who just like to maintain and curate lists, I guess, are into it.
Well, can we all get on Letterbox so we can know what each other's watching and know each other's
I'm on it,
opinions about
yeah.
it?
You're on
You're
Letterboxd,
on
Emma?
it? Then
I'm
you're
on it.
You're sending your
I'm on it, but I
right
simply do it to keep track of. But I've fallen behind. I was on it for like 6 months and then I stopped, but I still have it on my phone. But I was
You were
just
on it
using
for
it to
6
keep track
months?
of like, yeah. I
Were
was
you
just using it
writing
to keep track
reviews
of
as
what I saw.
well? Because I know
No. I was just like, I've seen this because it got to the point where every once in a while I turn on a movie and I'd be like, nope, already watched this,
Yeah.
which I guess is pretty bad.
Yeah.
but I think it was during 2020. It was like late the first year of COVID, and I think my brain was the sense of time had been like warped, and I was like, I can't remember what I've seen. So, but
Well,
yeah,
I'm
let's get
getting on Letterboxd
on.
it sounds
It's
sounds
the
like
new Twitter.
people, if you post where your letterbox is, people can like follow your reviews. I'm not a fan of like, I don't go and read reviews. Sometimes I'll read reviews like after I see a movie that I'm like, oh, I didn't like that, or like I was confused by that, and then I'll read reviews to see if other people had like a similar experience. But I
Mhm.
won't. I don't want to like know what other people thought of movies before I see them, basically.
Yeah. If there's something where I'm like, I'm definitely gonna see this new Martin McDonagh movie, and
Yeah.
someone's like, it sucks, I think I'd be pretty bummed,
Yeah.
We watched
and I'd still want to watch it.
Geostorm last night. The
Oh,
Gerard
Geostorm.
Butler,
Yeah.
Jim Sturgis,
Mhm.
what's his name? The guy who
Jim
plays God
Sturgis. I
and
thought, Mr. Speaker, Washington, D.C.
who's the guy?
He's a puka.
The guy who plays God in Truman Show.
Morgan Freeman.
No, he's not actually God. He's like the
Oh, Ed Harris.
Ed Harris.
Oh, I'm thinking of Bruce Almighty.
Yeah, you think.
But anyways, Becca Barish is in town now. And
For a
she
few
loves
months,
a
I
bad
think.
movie. Yes. So she came over and we watched it, and it is so bad. We watched it because it's bad, but it was like not even. It's unwatchably bad.
Yeah, I gave it the not Morbius treatment, where I put it on and I quickly stopped watching it. Like it played, the whole movie played. Don't get me wrong, but I quickly stopped watching it.
Gerard Butler has found himself in a little bit of like a niche corner, right?
Well, it's
like
the same corner that every like hot action person of a period like gets in, to a certain
but it
degree.
seemed like he was going to be a big star, and then it was like he did 20 of these like not Black Hawk Down, White House.
But those are big budget, at least. Like I think he's at least like making like good money on those.
White House Down, or I forget what it's called.
Olympus Has Fallen. It's either
maybe
Olympus
that's
Has
what it
Fallen
is.
or White House Down. It's one of those, but he's done a bunch of them.
But that's basically every movie he does now is like there's some terrible situation featuring a high-powered player, and then he's the only person who can finagle his way to safety or whatever.
Somebody, I missed this. I don't know where it is, but someone asked me a question before of like, what do we assume about our followers? What are some like things we noticed that they all have in common? And I was wondering if you guys had any answers to that.
Terrible taste.
Well, yes, of course.
I don't know. I mean, every Hey Riddle fan that I've ever met, like in person, has been very nice. One person, one time I was walking and they shouted "Hey Riddle" at me from a bike, and then later they sent me a message on Instagram being like, "Hey, I apologize. I was like, oh, it's okay, it's fine." It's like I much prefer that than like you like cornering me and like trying to talk to me for like 25 minutes.
I prefer that over my name.
Yeah. I guess if someone just shouts my name as I'm driving by, I have no context for who they are or why they did it. But if they shout "Hey Riddle," I'm like, that person like listens to the podcast. That's gotta be.
Although John Gaber said that to us once in LA, and it was very funny.
Yeah, he like leaned like his whole body out of a car window to do it. So
that was really funny.
I was like, oh no, we're in danger from this fan, and I'm like, oh, it's just Gaber.
Go
ahead.
I was gonna say I don't think one Hey Riddle fan gave us, I think it was a Hey Riddle fan gave us a puppet. Gave us each puppets of
My
us.
favorite.
Incredible
puppets, but most other people don't give us puppets.
Yeah, I'd say JPC, I think you're hitting on a lot of boxes that I would tick, which is they're very kind, they're usually wonderfully polite, they all have they all have unusual talents. I feel like a lot of them bake or cook very well, or like to bake and cook, because I feel like we get some baked goods and stuff like that. What else? Between 5'4" and 6'2".
The things I've noticed, obviously very kind and funny, but a lot of people who are creative, a lot of people who have jobs where they have to be alone for a long time, like they work in a lab, or they like a lot of people who had just had a baby and they're like feeding their baby at night, like a lot of people with a lot of time where they have to be alone. And then I'd say in my experience, a lot of people who are like self-identified introverts really, really, really like Hey Riddle Riddle. The people reach out to me. It's kind of fun because I'm an introvert and they're an introvert, and otherwise we wouldn't ever meet or speak. But
that's
a lot of people who are like, I would say not a big extroverted fan base. And maybe that's just podcasts, but I think it might be particular to us.
I would say, so Aaron, you're an introvert. I'm an introvert. JPC, I would say you're an extrovert.
I'm like 49-51, but I lean towards introvert.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because it's where you get your energy, and you probably get your energy split ways, it seems.
I get my energy from a battery that God gave me when I was born.
And that battery is in
Sorry,
your...
the devil. Sorry.
I was trying to I was pulling up our voicemails too, because I was like, most of my interactions with listeners lately have been me texting them back from voicemails. And my rule with texting back with voicemails is I'll respond. You get one text, but it's not a conversation. We're not having a conversation. And I would say that when I was just like going back, like looking, I was like, oh yeah, who have I been texting? Most people, I would say, get that. And then there are a couple of people who have just like texted like 4 or 5 times to something that is like not responding, or they'll text something like, hey, what's up? And it's like, well, that's not what this is.
Well, like, does this go to your personal phone number?
No, it's not my phone number, but I can access it on my phone.
Okay.
Yeah.
So these people don't have your...
This is the Riddle voice. If you can text and call the Riddle.
Yes. But you don't wake up in the middle of the night and you have 40 missed texts from a fan being like, JPC, please, like, no, I'm on your porch.
No, it all goes to the Riddle phone number. But it is very funny because I'll respond to anyone who messages. Well, not anyone. If someone says something like really weird or bad, then I won't respond. But most people I will respond to. But if you're reaching out to be like, hey, what's going on? No, that's it's got to be something. It's got to be something germane to like the show or something. It can't just be like checking in on me personally.
I had a fan. I don't know which show they were a fan of, or both, or whatever, or neither. But somebody reached out to me who I didn't know who they were, and I had on Twitter, when Gemma and I bought our house, I posted a picture of us in front of the house. The typical, we have the keys. Like, look at us now. We found these keys. But they had taken. There's like 1/50th of a cube of the frame was like the property sign or something. And he's like, hey, just a heads up, I was able to like reverse engineer by looking up this property company and figuring out their logo to where your address is and the house that recently sold. So he's like, if I could do it, someone else can do it. And I was like, you just added yourself.
You did it.
The person you're warning me about.
The most invasive thing someone has done, I will tell you guys, but I don't want to give people ideas, but yeah, people have done some stuff, but for the most part, I feel very like validated and relieved, because a lot of the people who like listen to the show are like so reasonable and funny and cool and kind and lovely, and I would probably be friends with in real life. So like, I'm like, we must be doing something right. Even though our show is chaotic evil, there's something that's going right, that not like scary bad people are our main.
I do think that people's guess was that most of our listeners would be weird, but in my experience, that is not the case. There are some people who are kind of weird, but for the most part, it's not. It's like just nice people.
Lovely.
I think also maybe
kind people, I would say kind.
Yes,
people.
Very kind people with maybe just a sprinkle, a dash of like social anxiety.
Oh,
yes. Yeah. Of course, but we got that too. Well, not you, JPC.
No, not me. Can I tell you my absolute favorite story? That it was back when I was working with One Shot doing the campaign show, and so what's that?
Bob Marley, One Shot.
So this was before Hey Riddle Riddle, and I was at Gen Con, and someone came up to me and they said something to me, and I said, "I'm sorry, what?" And they said the same thing again. I don't remember what it was. They said the same thing again. And I was like, I'm sorry. I was like, I don't know. I don't know what that means. And they go, you said that. I go, what? And they go, you said that on the show. And I go, oh, okay. Yeah. Sorry. I don't remember that. And they said, I give $50 to your Patreon. And I said, hey, we have to start over. I was like, this can't be what this is. They were very nervous, and they were very nervous.
This
but I was
can't
like,
be what this is.
I said we have to start over.
I think that's the right move, because you go like, this is not how you meant for this to go.
No one wants this to go this way.
No, I think you deserve a better interaction with me than this.
Yeah. I think it's nice to to take the wheel and direct the car a little bit. Because I'll have people do that where they talk to me for like 2 minutes. They'll come up to me and talk to me for 2 minutes, and at some point I go, I am so sorry. You look familiar. How do we know each other? And they're like, we don't. And I'm like, oh, okay. What's going on here? And they're like, no, I'm a fan of blank. And I'm like, oh, lead with that. Like lead. I would love to meet you. I'd love to talk to you. But my brain the whole last 3 minutes was panicking that you're like somebody I knew in college and I can't remember their name. Yeah. Turns out we've never met.
That's so funny.
But I was too awkward to say anything.
Someone said, what's your ideal kind of gift from a fan at a live show? I'd say you don't bring us anything.
Mine would just be
false.
Applause.
No.
Laughter.
You're both wrong.
Laughter, applause.
Both wrong. Absolute number one best gift to receive from a fan. A book of riddles we have not yet used.
Yes.
Yeah,
that's fuel. Nice. You're giving us fuel for the show.
I was going to say nothing or riddles.
Yes.
But I would say just if you interact with us, any bit of like something about how you listen to the show, or like I introduced it to my mom and she loves it. Any little bit of a tidbit, because we are recording these in a closet and it feels like it goes to no one. So just hearing your feedback of how it's meant anything to you is better than any gift you could bring us.
I think nice shoes would be like,
really actually fancy shoes.
I'm a 12.
You want to bring me a fancy pair of fucking shoes?
I'm a 12.
Yeah. Why not?
6.5. Bring me Louboutin heels, please.
What if people?
Jimmy
I'll take those.
You're like, no gifts. The only thing that you're allowed to bring us is shoes. We give everyone their shoe size. They have to be over $100, which is like, that's like, honestly, that's like what you pay for fucking shoes nowadays.
I'd love the Nike duck boots. Look so nice. The olive green with the gum brown.
Okay, so now that's like 180. So we're getting up there.
Yeah, I know.
Well, hey, everybody.
Why did our Patreon drop off? Oh, because everyone's buying us $400 shoes.
I wouldn't cook $1 million in a briefcase out of that. So if you wanted to bring that, small bills, 20s and 50s. Well, hey, everyone, thank you so much for hanging out with us on our live stream. If you want to see us live and in person, we'll be in San Francisco in 2 weekends, right? 2 Sundays from now, kind of like that, something like that. It's something like that.
You're right. Yeah.
There are maybe you'd have to like walk in to get tickets, but either way, if you're in San Francisco, it's probably worth the trip. That's all I got.
Yeah. Thank you for being a patron, and thank you for not only just being a patron, but being a patron who comes and spends time with us on these live streams. We appreciate it.
I love these.
It feels like we're talking to you.
Well, I'm a little late for a sitcom D&D recording.
Oh shit! Oh, Aaron's late, which means
is
we're
your
all
boss
late.
Is the creator of that show gonna yell at you?
Yes.
You're the creator of that show, right?
Crack the fucking whip. All right, everybody. Have a good night. See ya.
You guys are the best.
Bye.
Oh,